I've been looking forward to showing you this recipe. This is my duck lasagna. Now, we all know I love duck, but in a lasagna, it's rich and lush. And I'm going to speed up the whole process by cooking the meat in a pressure cooker. I can't live without my pressure cooker. It just speeds up everything, especially if you want that slow cooked finish to your dishes. This does it for you. So let's get the duck in the pan straight away. We want to seal it off and render a little bit of the fat. I've got 4 duck legs here. This is plenty to make one large lasagna. We need to season it first with a little bit of salt, no oil, because that fat will render off, and a good crack of pepper. That goes straight into a pan, and this is going to get the duck rendered and sealed off while I get the vegetables done over here. We need classic Ragu veggies. So first, 1 large onion here that I'm just going to dice, and the other half, it doesn't have to be too small a dice because this is going to cook down and really get quite soft. Good. Let's get that into a pan with a good glug of olive oil. And in it goes. So while that's cooking, we can get on to the other veggies, some classic ones like celery in half and then a dice. 2 cloves of garlic, I'm going to bruise that and roughly chop that. And that can go in, again, with our onions at the same time. A little stir. And for the carrots, I've grated my carrot. I want that really nice sweetness from it. So the smaller the pieces are, just like this, the sweeter this dish is. And now season at this stage a bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Turn that over now. That one looks fantastic. And we'll just give it a few more minutes. So some mushrooms too, which go nicely with duck and really gives it a nice autumn wintry flavour to it. Wonderful. That can go also in the pressure cooker. And for some herbs. Now I've got some thyme here. I'm just going to pick off the young tips of it here. Great. And I'm just going to chop the parsley, stalks and all. We'll scrunch it up and just run the knife through it. And then in it goes. Now is the time we can add our duck legs into our ragu. Perfect. And I'm just going to swap burners here because I want some good heat to this pan because we need to deglaze now. First of all, a touch of tomato paste there. That's going to give it, again, another rich element to the dish. I always add a bit of port with my red wine so we get some sweetness. And a 1.5 cups of red wine. And you just want that just to bubble away, just to cook off some of that alcohol. Now, to finish this off, a little bit of passata or tomato puree. We're going to cover the duck legs there. And usually if you were slow cooking this, it would take 1.5 hours. But in the pressure cooker, it's going to take 30 minutes to 40 minutes at most. Very simply, it clicks in, and as soon as you start hearing that whistle, then we turn it down and just let it finish cooking. And then that part is ready. We can get on to the bechamel. The duck is cooked. It's been cooking for about 35 minutes. Let's take this lid off. Oh, it just smells so good. So I'm just going to take it out of the sauce at this stage. And once they've cooled, I will shred that and we'll also discard the bone. Let's get on to a really classic bechamel. I've got a really easy recipe for you to follow. 30 grams of butter, and I've just allowed it to melt there. And we need 30 grams of plain flour, so we'll add that. And then with a wooden spoon, we want to cook off that flour because we don't want a raw flour taste. So give that 30 seconds at least to a minute, constantly stirring. And then we can start adding 3 cups of milk. So 30, 30 and 3 cups. So easy to remember. You'll never fail your bechamel after this. And then we add a little bit at a time. We'll take that off the heat, add a little bit more. I'm going to transfer over to the whisk. And then we'll add the rest of the milk and we'll place it back on the heat. Once this bechamel has thickened up, I'm going to season it and then I'm going to shred the meat. is thick and glossy now, but it's not too thick. I don't want a really stodgy bechamel for this recipe. And we need to season it now, so a little bit of salt and some freshly cracked pepper. If you've got some white pepper, that works well too. And now I'm going to take it off the heat and add a little bit of nutmeg. So a few pinches. And that smells so good. So this is ready to go. We've got our shredded meat, so tender. I'm gonna have a taste right now. It's so moist, not dry at all. So we can put this now back into our sauce and try not to leave any of those yummy juices on the board. Scoop it all up, wonderful. And we'll get a nice heavy tray here. And the first layer, a few big tablespoons of our duck ragu. Now let's get on to some fresh herbs. I've just got some parsley here, and for our lasagna sheets, these fit perfectly in this tray, so just 2. Another layer of our rich duck sauce. And this is where it gets a little interesting. I'm adding another dimension to this lasagna with some eggplant. I've just grilled it, and I'm going to put a few of these slices throughout each layer. Okay, now for some bechamel. Drizzle all of that bechamel there. And all we need to do now is keep layering, and then I'm going to bake it in the oven for about 50 minutes to an hour and on 180 degrees. It smells divine. That would be the only word to describe this. Slow cooked duck in a lasagna with a little surprise in the centre there with that eggplant. I love this. A truly winter or autumn dish.